I'm Deborah Cox, and this is Vanity Insanity, a show that asks some straight questions about the real costs of looking good. Why are we so obsessed with beauty?
I think it has been a concerted effort on my part to portray myself in the best light and to portray, I guess, transsexuals in the best light. I don't remember being confused until I was about 6 years old. And I remember my father was very much a man's man and was captain of his cricket team. And I remember going back to the locker room and definitely looking around. I remember knowing that something was very wrong and that I shouldn't be there. And I ran out of the locker room. From that moment on, I knew that I was different. Sometimes the children at school didn't understand. A lot of times I was, oh, and that little girl back there, and then they'd realize who it was, and there would be a snicker or two. There were a couple of girls that transitioned at the same time as I did, and we kind of helped each other. And all my friends would come to my home because my mother was so supportive of me being this way. We'd be sitting on the floor, and we had long hair at that time, and we'd be listening to Dionne Warwick albums and painting our toenails, and there was no really stopping me. I mean, I'm not a man in any sense of the word, and they must have seen that at a young age. You know, and everybody would say to me, oh, you should definitely think of modeling, you know. As a model, I did a lot of runway, did a lot of catalog work. It was hard work. A lot of people think that it's glamorous and, you know, but it's really not that great. There's a lot of pressure to maintain your looks. I remember living in Paris and sharing an apartment with another model, and right before every collection we would go to the nearest store and buy raw shrimp. We'd put the shrimp out on the windowsill for about 3 or 4 days until we knew that it was completely rotten, and then we'd eat it, so we would get food poisoning, and we'd lose like 9 pounds or 8 pounds right before the collection. We'd walk in looking amazing. My most memorable moment modeling was definitely for Vogue. That was probably the pinnacle of my modeling career. I'm very proud of that. I definitely experienced prejudice, especially in my modeling career. Once it got out that I wasn't biologically female, a lot of girls would, you know, call the agent and say, do you know Lauren really isn't a female? And one went so far as to sell my story to a journalist from Reuters. I was entering Miss South Africa, actually, and was disqualified because of the story. I lost a lot of campaign opportunities, but, you know, I just took it in my stride. You know, adversity, you know, you grow. Crazy, wild, glamorous lifestyle, definitely. Everybody would automatically say, well, you know, you really should write about your life. It's been so exciting. The most difficult and painful part to write about has definitely been about friends and loved ones that I've lost. I had the most wonderful family, but both my parents have now passed, and I miss them terribly. They were an integral part of my life. I'm hoping to set a precedent with this book because most transsexuals have written a tell-all expose sensationalistic book, and mine really wants to get a spiritual, helpful message across. My main message is really to be true to yourself, and through that will come happiness and success.